Hello, America. Heavy Montae here. Welcome to the Heavy Montae's podcast and my comedy show. Now, in America, I want to talk a little bit about this Epstein thing, what's going on with Donald Trump. But before I do that, I want to go back to that big, nasty poison bill. I understand that the Republican congressmen are in hiding. Somebody told me that they were caught between a rock and a hard space, America. They say that they are caught between defending a pedophile, which the House of Representatives, they said they ain't doing it. They ran America. They got out of town. They said they're not taking no vote. They are not voting to, release those records because they're afraid that Donald Trump might be in the record. Now, somebody told me that he is in the records. They say there might be some videotape of him doing some nasty, nasty things. And America wants to know. You understand? We don't care if there's Democrats in there. We don't care if there's Republicans in there. We don't care who's on that list. If you're on that list, we want to know because we need to protect our children from pedophiles and perverts. America. Now, I want to say a little bit more. Donald Trump, came on TV. Okay, he's trying to deflect us from that big nasty bill now. Don't forget that we're going to do two things at the same time. We can talk about the pedophile, who might be Donald Trump. He might be a pervert, too, they say. Now, I think he is a pervert now because he did some pervert things. I think one thing that he did to me that proved he's a pervert is when he grabbed those women by their private parts and said they liked it. America. He said the women liked it, what he was doing to them, So I consider that him a pervert. So hey, Monty, consider him a pervert. You don't have to follow me. That's my opinion. Okay? I will not trust him overnight with any of my small grandchildren. You understand? Okay, so America, I want to say this here to you. Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein said, had no scruples. Epstein, he ain't had none. He said that Donald Trump's scruples were less than his. You see what I'm saying? America. Now, the Republican Party and the corporate media, is going around talking trash about the Democratic Party. I don't like that. I'm going to tell you why. We are not a power. Now, if you want to really, 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 really judge the Democratic Party, give us 60 senators in the House, and we'll take care of that. We will run that and impeach that possible, I don't know yet, if he's a pedophile. He got to go. You see what I'm saying? If the records come out and say that, and they say he running scared. They said, they said, Donald, something must be in them records if you don't know. And I hope not. He's done a lot of low-down dirty stuff that I don't like, in my opinion. But if he does that, I think that'll rip the soul out of our country. You see what I'm trying to tell you? That's the reason why we need to be clean about it. We need to put those records out there so everybody can see, America, what is going on. But the Republican Party got themselves in a jam. They dance with the devil, they said. And it's time to pay. You know what, America? They say you went to the maggot church and you danced with the devil and it's time to pay. They say you went to the maggot church and you said, we're not going to protect the immigrants. You didn't stand up and say, preacher, we need to help those poor people, being separated from their children, America. Mothers and fathers and husbands and wives being separated from each other because of a criminal president and a dirty, low-down Republican House and Senate backed up by a criminal, nasty, stinking Supreme Court, They're in the pocket of Donald Trump. And I say about that Supreme Court, we needed to fund that Supreme Court. We take the House. Stop them. Shit. If we don't stop them, everybody going to be living in Jim Crow. Donald Trump said this. Donald Trump said he don't need those people votes. He said, he probably will tell you right now, I'm going to pardon. This is what he's going to say to you. This is just what I'm guessing now. Okay? Donald Trump's going to look all the voters in the face and say, you're stupid, you're ignorant, and you're dumb. I got immunity. I pardon the January 6th people. Start quiet. The people who talk the doggone Capitol. Okay, I'm going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. Ain't a damn thing y'all can do about it. But he made a big mistake this time, America, because the midterms are coming. You understand? And the Democrats take the House over. He getting impeached and probably kicked out if he did that. Because I don't think there's a difference between thinking somebody did something than they show that he did that. I don't think no Republican will be able to vote for him if he is proven to be a pedophile or a pervert. That's the reason why he is afraid, they say. You know what I'm trying to tell you. There's some nasty stuff in them tapes. Michael Wolff said, huh? They're photographs, Polaroids, he said. You know, he said he saw. He said he saw. Michael Wolff is the book a person who wrote a book with Jeffrey Epstein. I understand his biographer. That's what they call it. Yeah, biographer. You know what I'm saying? He spent hours with him talking about him. Said they had a safe, had a bunch of pictures in the safe, America. And he said that when the FBI arrested Epstein, they probably got those pictures. Those pictures might be in the file. They showed Donald Trump with a nasty stain on the front of his pants and a bunch of little girls looking at him, laughing. Hee, they say. Huh? See, America? That's the kind of stuff these people do to our children, if it's true. You see what I'm saying? But we can say right now here at the Heavy Montae YouTube channel, please subscribe. You know, always love subscribers. The more the better. We can say that we honestly believe if Donald Trump was not guilty, huh, that he would release those files real quickly, especially when he says that there are hundreds of people on the list, and he said most of them are Democrats. And you know damn well, if a bunch of Democrats were on that list and they could prosecute them, you know, I'm trying to tell you, he'd have went after them back in the day. Now, let's say that you cannot prosecute anybody for any crimes now because the 10 years is up. You see what I'm saying? It's been 10 years. So, you know, so what I'm trying to tell everybody is that Donald Trump, he can pardon them. I mean, excuse me, he can pardon her if he's trying to cover these things up. And most likely he will. And if he do it, I'm calling him a pedophile. I'm calling him, and I'm going to say it based on the evidence. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? But right now, I don't know. I want to make it clear, okay, that we do not know. All right? Now, I know a lot of people out there saying, yeah, you know, by his reputation, he's not a good, you know, person, candidate, you know, for us to say, hey, he might not have done it. So anyway, America. So two things I want to talk about. Again, in closing, the big bill, don't forget. You understand? The big bill that they took all of our money, your money, my money, I'm still missing 3 teeth, and gave our money to the billionaires. So I got to wait a little longer to make my teeth fixed. You know what I'm saying? My teeth money going to the golf course. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump is golfing, man. $45 million, they said $10 million, you know? And we can't get our teeth fixed, and they can't give us health care. America, we ain't put up with this. We got to vote them jokers out. And now, I'm going to say this again. 3 things. I said 2. All right. The nasty bill, and Donald Trump might be a pedophile, and a pervert, and a convict. We don't know. We're going to stay that. But check it out. Those are 2 things I want to talk about. The third thing I want to talk about is them nasty Republicans in hiding. They tell me they're in hiding. Nancy Mace talking about she going to have a big town hall. The people say they know dang on well. She's inviting people. They said she's going to have a clean audience with just a bunch of these dang on maggots. But I tell you one thing, maggot. I don't even know how a maggot can defend the Republican Party now. Seriously. Donald Trump told them, you know. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk again a little bit more in closing, just like my preacher used to do in church. But this time I'm going to stop. Now, the maggots have been brainwashing their voters. I told you about the maggot who took and cut his father's head off, went on the web and hold the head up and said, "This is what we do because the government is too much in our lives." You know, he probably feel like a damn fool now since Donald Trump got in and didn't do none of the shit he said he was going to do. Okay. Joe Rogan came out, right? I was on Joe Rogan back, man, because Joe Rogan's a slick little dude, man, and Joe Rogan should be talking like the heavy, talking like me. Looking out for people, especially young white males, man. They got young white males going out, shooting people in the dang on churches with AK-47s and shit, because they're taking advantage of these dang on young white males, telling them they can't compete and they can't get a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy shit. There's a lot more women in the world than men. So, if you can't get a woman, you got some problems, you know what I'm saying? If you, date them, go out, watch Andy Griffith. Yeah, watch Andy Griffith. Barney and Andy on Andy Griffith show. They show you how to date, these women. You guys who can't get one. But America. Now, I want to say this guy cut his father's head off. You see what I'm trying to tell you? They're doing all kind of crazy stuff, Now they realize, that Donald Trump been BSing them, but you don't see them out there talking trash. They're quiet. They're hiding. They don't want nobody to know they voted for. And something else they're saying. They're saying that if a person have a Trump sign in their yard, they might be a pedophile. That's a cold thing going on. Huh? They don't want to tell you. I don't know how true it is. You know what I'm saying? But I know one thing. There was somebody on my street, okay, a long time ago. Okay? A long time ago, all right? Nobody currently live at now. Had a Trump sign. Okay? Back in the old days, when Trump won our first election, come to find out, he's a pedophile. See? So, I don't know. So I'm trying to tell you. But they're saying that they're using those signs to be kind of careful when you see those signs and shit. That's all I got to say. And I want you to verify that because that might be a rumor. You see what I'm trying to say? It might be, I'm trying to tell you, something that's not true. Huh? Just like all of the stuff that Donald Trump told his voters. Hmm? Man, I'd be mad if I was a maggot voter like a fool. And they were burning books and shit. Remember that? Burning books, going to the school. And I used to be serve with the school board. That school served 2 terms. And we had parents showing up at the dang old place, parking their car in front of the school where people couldn't pass and safety things and all kind of stuff, You see what I'm saying? Our superintendent came out and she did a press briefing every year, and we had to sit there for 3 or 4 hours listening to people scream. You see? And it's bad enough, being on the school board, and you have the Republican Party out there doing things to radicalize the parents. You see, America? The Republicans, we got to vote them out. Vote them out, never vote for them again. And before I go, my chant, we want the files, the Jeffrey Epstein files. We want to see. We want to know. The Jeffrey Epstein file. Is Donald Trump a pedophile? The Jeffrey Epstein file. Is Donald Trump a pedophile? We need to prove it back. We want to know. And this is Heavy Montae from the Heavy Montae podcast and the Heavy Montae Comedy Show. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and never, ever vote for a Republican.